Hey, here's the reality. Life is hard. But you want to know something that's great about that? Is the fact that you get to decide how hard do you want it and which path you want to take. You know, let's put this in terms of your health and fitness goals. Let's just say you decide to take the easy route. And maybe the easy route is not being active, not working out, not eating healthy, not exercising, not doing all these things that you should be doing and should be prioritizing. Yeah, that's easy in the beginning, but life's going to be a lot harder for you down the road in 5, 10, 15, 20 years when you're over 30% body fat, maybe high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, maybe even type 2 diabetes, lacking energy to make it up and down the stairs, constantly tired, low sex drive, lacking confidence, you can't fit into your old favorite clothes. Guess what? That easy decision that you decided to make in the beginning made things a lot harder for you compared to somebody else that, let's say, they decide to make the hard things in the very beginning, but easier the older that they get. Let that sink in. Because at the end of the day, both paths are hard. Plain and simple. It's just you get to decide how and when you want your life to be hard. Do you want it to be hard in the beginning when you are active, when you are, let's say, in better health, or let's just say you have more energy now? Or do you want to wait until 5, 10, 15, 20 years before you decide to start making it a priority, And it's way harder. You think getting in shape now is hard? Like you right now. Maybe you're in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, maybe even your 60s listening to this and watching this. You think getting in shape right now is hard? Imagine 10 years from now, if you don't decide to do something now. You think it's going to be harder in 10 years or easier in 10 years? Once again, this is what life is. Life's hard. Life's tough. But you get to decide. It's your choice. Hey, it's hard waking up and going to the gym and working out and being disciplined and, eating healthy. Hey, it's hard. There's temptation out there. There's donuts galore. Food tastes great. Sleeping in and not working out feels awesome in that time situation, right? But life's going to be a lot harder down the road when you're kind of withering the consequences from not prioritizing your health, by not being active, by not eating healthy. So it's all at the end of the day, like, what do you want to decide? Because this is your choice, And everything that you do, anything and everything, it's going to be hard. There's going to be, decisions that's going to be needed to make. And most of the time, and this is just our human nature in all of us, we always decide to choose the easy route in the very beginning because we either want to brush it under the rug or just kind of forget about it, or maybe it's not too serious to us right now, but it only makes us 10 times harder down the road. And I'm not even talking about, let's just say health and fitness at this point. Let's just say if there's an altercation, maybe with your spouse, maybe with your children, maybe with your coworkers or friends, altercation, right? Disagreement, something like that, right? And let's just say that you decide to just brush it off. I'm not going to worry about this yet, or I don't feel like manning up and apologizing, So I'm just going to brush it underneath the rug. Hey, it'll kind of dwindle down, right? It'll blow off some steam. It's not that big of a deal. But then again, right, maybe for that other person, maybe they're just bottling that all up because it never got solved. That issue never got solved. And then let's say another argument or disagreement happens and it blows up tenfold now, because now it's not just another issue that's brand new, but it's also something that was never resolved in the beginning, and that's getting brought right back up to the situation. Men, if you're listening to this right now, you know exactly what I mean, especially with your spouse. I'm one to blame. There's plenty of times where in my life I could have looked at my wife and just said, yeah, I should have never done that. I'm sorry. Right? By saying those two words, I'm sorry, I let my ego get in the way. And guess what? it doesn't resolve the issue by me just, brushing it under the rug. Instead, that easy decision by just saying, oh, it's not a big deal, don't worry about it, or hey, whatever, like, hey, this is stupid, why are we even arguing about this, right? Like, by me doing that, it makes it harder tenfold down the road when the next argument happens. Instead of me just saying, hey, sweetheart, you're absolutely right, I'm sorry, I apologize. Like, I got to learn how to do better. Guys, you know what I'm talking about. So, in all these situations, I don't know if maybe, making a purchasing decision has ever occurred to you, but that happened with me with buying a vehicle. My wife's car, we bought her a vehicle, and at the dealership, it was a lot cheaper than all these other cars, And like, I don't like the car at all. It's way too big. It barely fits in my, my driveway. Like, I don't like it at all. I don't like the mechanics. I don't like it at all. Come to find out, there's all these other issues with it. So it's just like, in that moment, talking to that sales rep, right, at the dealership, hey, I'm just looking for what is the cheapest option. Hey, give me this car. And then next thing you know, we're driving it for the next year, putting more money into it with repairs and whatnot. And I'm like, this is stupid. This is dumb. Why did I do this? Instead of me saying, okay, hey, maybe it's more realistic for me to, spend a little bit more of my money as an investment for this vehicle so I don't have to spend more money down the road, right, trying to get it repaired. Because there's not just more money that comes involved. And I want you guys to understand that. In everything that you decide to do that's hard, this is the biggest thing. It's not just money, it's not just health, it's something else that you cannot get back in your life. And I'll talk about that here in a quick second. But think about it. This car, right? What else is I'm spending into it, right? It's not just money, it's time. And that's the most precious commodity here that you can never get back. So that time of, hey, calling up, my mechanic, taking it there, and, obviously waiting for it, and da-da-da, that's time. Time is money. Like, that is the one precious thing that I always hold true and tell everybody. You're not going to be able to get that back. So, with you, maybe not prioritizing your health and fitness goals, let's say, and you're deciding to take the easy route because it feels good. It feels good to sleep in. It feels good to, eat bad and not care about eating healthy. It feels good. Guess what? It doesn't just make your life harder down the road when you're high body fat, high blood pressure, you're struggling with energy levels, low confidence, low sex drive. Guess what? Time. 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 So, with you deciding to take the easy route, really think about this. How much time are you wasting not being happy? I don't know many people, right? Deep rooted, right? We're talking like underneath the surface that are happy with the way that they look and the way that they feel if they're struggling with high blood pressure, struggling with type 2 diabetes, lacking energy to make it up and down the stairs. They have to suck in their gut just to put on their boots and shoes in the morning and their socks. They have all these old clothes that they wish they can fit into, and yet they keep in the back of their closet. I don't know many people very happy that way. Happy living life like that. And that time that you're wasting away, you're never going to get back. Because anybody can get in shape. It's easy. We help out thousands of guys get in shape. Hundreds of them get off their medications. Dozens of them reverse their type 2 diabetes. It's the easiest thing in the world when you actually have a coach telling you and teaching you how to properly eat and train. But maybe you're deciding to take the easy route. Oh, I'll cut out my carbs. Oh, I'll cut out my sugar. Oh, I'll stop eating fast food. Oh, I'll do intermittent fasting. Oh, I'll do all this cardio. Think about it. Easy in the beginning, and then what happens? Because you probably realistically already done that. And like Albert Einstein said, the definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over again. So you regain the weight right back, you fell off the wagon, and then you went back to those old ways again. And try to brainwash yourself to say, oh, I just wasn't disciplined enough. I just wasn't committed enough. I got to stick to it harder this time. It's like, no, you're just being ignorant. You got this ego It's like the same thing as if, I'm not a mechanic, right? But hopefully this makes sense, right? It's the same exact thing as if, let's say, my car does not start, and I think the issue is my starter. So I started fooling around with my starter on the car, and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to look it up on Google and YouTube, etc. I start messing around with the spark plugs. Next thing you know, I start just, making a mess. So I'm like trying to fix the car, right? Trying to get it started again. It still doesn't start. So I'm like, all right, maybe it's the transmission. Start, fooling around with the transmission. That doesn't work. Next thing you know, I'm underneath the hood. I start doing more stuff, like just God knows what, right? And by the time I decide to say, hey, listen, I don't know what I'm doing here. Maybe I should call up a mechanic because they're a professional. They know what they're doing. The mechanic, right? I'll say it like this too, because a lot of people always want to know what the price of Heartletics is. Have you ever called up your mechanic and say, hey, my car's not starting? Do you think, and then you immediately went, how much is it going to cost to fix it? What do you think that mechanic is going to tell you? I want to see that vehicle first. I don't know what the issue is. It's the same thing when guys try to apply for a coaching program and text me and they're like, oh, what's the price? Well, I want to see what the issue is. Apply for a free discovery call so we can find that all out. But regardless, you take your vehicle to the mechanic and they're like, hey, Sherlock Holmes, your problem was the battery, dude. You just need to replace it. It's like $200. Would have start brand new. But what you did was XYZ, 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 trying to fix it on your own, and you actually did more harm than good. Now we got to repair all these issues too, and it's going to cost you like $5K. That's what guys realistically do when they try to do their own route when it comes to losing body fat. Losing body fat successfully on their own. It's just like, what is a coach? Well, a coach is that mechanic that's going to obviously fix you, but that coach is also going to be that GPS in the vehicle that's going to teach you how to get somewhere where you're trying to get to in terms of your health and fitness goals. So when a roadblock occurs, it's going to, reroute you so you still get to your end destination. A coach is also like think about it like this. When you had to take your driving test and you had somebody sitting in your passenger seat, the driver's ed instructor, telling you and teaching you how to drive a car, still to this day, you don't have that person. You gain the knowledge. So it's just like, that's what a coach does. And so many times, right, guys think, oh, I can just, wait a few years. It's not an issue right now, my health and fitness goals. I'll just, go ahead. I'll get started, in a year or two. It's a shame. Because one, the easy route makes it way harder down the road. The older you get, the harder it gets. Hate to break it to you, but that's just how the reality is. Second, you're wasting that time. And what is that time for you worth? If I was lacking confidence and I was struggling, hey, I don't like this, because if I'm lacking confidence in the way that I view myself, that's also going to portray to my work habits, my relationship with my kids. Like, I want to be the man that has the confidence that steps up to the arena every single time. No ifs, ands, or buts. And if just by looking at myself and I didn't see what I liked, and that was making me suffer with that confidence and it was bleeding out to other areas of life, I'm trying to fix that ASAP. If I'm not leading by example and I knew that, hey, potentially I'm being a bad example for my kids and they're following through with my footsteps, hey, I'm trying to change that ASAP. I'm not waiting anymore, because it's only going to get harder. And let's say I decide to put my health and fitness goals on the back burner. My kids follow through, my family, my wife, right, follows through my unhealthy habits for the next year because I decide to wait because I want to take the easy route. Guess what? It's going to be harder for me to make a change, but also harder for them to make a change as well. So hopefully you understand what I'm trying to tell you in today's message. Life's hard, but you can decide how hard you want it. Plain and simple. If you want it to be easy now, expect it to be harder down the road. If you want life to be hard now, expect it to be easy down the road. And maybe you just need somebody in your corner helping you, because maybe you're not your own body mechanic and you don't know what to do, and you don't know how to make that mindset shift or that physical transformation happen that could actually be beneficial for you and make your life a lot easier down the road. Hopefully you guys got some value from today's episode. If you did, definitely let me know. And as always, guys, this has been Coach Joe with the Heartletics Podcast. Talk to you next time. Peace out, Girl Scouts.